Honorable Governor Blong Sepik.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is also related to what was asked by the good member for Abao, but it's directed to the Minister for State Enterprises. Again, it's in relation to power. And let me preface the question by saying that over the last 2 decades, successive governments and ministers have actually failed to rectify the challenges in power in all of our towns and our cities. And one of the reasons why many of us were keen to change government in the last session, in the last parliament, was to try to fix some of these issues, and power being one of the more important ones. Now, it's gotten to a stage where our people actually make jokes about the lack of power. We have come to accept that power blackouts are normal in our country and that it is now a part of our life. Everyone is buying generators. There's no improvement in terms of the regulations that govern whether someone has a generator, people using solar panels or other renewables. We basically have no regulation to govern all these things. Before it becomes an even bigger joke, I want to ask these questions to the minister. Number one, what is really the issue in terms of all these continuous blackouts? Is it the generation? Is it the transmission? Is it incompetent management? Is it a lack of capitalization? What is it? Please outline to the House and to the people of Papua New Guinea. The reason I ask the question is that in the provinces, the governors get blamed when there's no power. We get blamed when there's no water. We get blamed when even the police are not working. Things that are completely outside of our responsibility. The second question, why have we been unable to fix these problems over successive governments and successive ministers? If we can identify the problem, surely it shouldn't take 25 years to fix it. Or in our case, it shouldn't take 2 governments. We should be able to fix it in this government. It should take us a very clear outline timeline to fix this thing. My third question, when can the ratepayers of Papua New Guinea expect it to be fixed? Is the minister able to give this House and to give the people of Papua New Guinea a definite timeline when these issues will be fixed once and for all, so that we don't continue to joke about the fact that our country is the blackout capital of the world? Thank you, Governor, for Morobe. And can the minister cause this range of suggested improvements to be published in the newspapers so all the people of Papua New Guinea can be informed? Finally, why doesn't the power hotline work? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Minister of State Enterprise.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to thank the good governor of Sepik Province for these very important questions. I'd like to start by answering the last one first. Why doesn't the hotline work? We do have a hotline, Mr. Speaker, and that is supposed to be manned by people who are paid every fortnight. For some reason, they sometimes don't man it. It is basically, Mr. Speaker, to do with competence and the ability of our people. Talking about mediocre performance, incompetent people is an issue that is found everywhere, not only in PNG Power, but even in departments everywhere in this country. And I have raised this issue time and time again as minister. But for some reason, things don't work. So that is an ongoing issue that we all have to keep our people on toes to manage it. And I admit that it is an ongoing issue, just like all the other hotlines that we have, those issues that are ongoing, and we're still trying to get our head around it, Mr. Speaker. And I admit that it is an issue that has been of concern to me as Minister responsible. Moving on, Mr. Speaker, to the next couple of questions. There are a combination of reasons why we have our company, PNG Power, in the situation it is now. Firstly, mainly to do with mostly legacy issues, which has taken more than 20 years for this company to get to where it is. I've been minister for more than 2 or 3 years, and I know the problems. I can only admit that there is a combination of factors that has led to the situation our company is in now. Firstly, dealing with the competency of the people who are employed in PNG Power. Secondly, dealing with the aging infrastructure we have. Thirdly, dealing with the lack of attention, appropriate attention by numerous governments over the years, more than 20 years. But one thing that we have done is, when we started by engaging a company called Coda Menta some years ago, and they were able to establish the root causes of the situation PNG Power is in. I admit that there is a lot of work that needs to be done. There are a number of factors which are equally important: the aging infrastructure, plus the financial performance of the company itself, plus the lack of finance to be able to import and bring in machinery, up-to-date machinery, which can be able to provide uninterrupted power to our various consumers right throughout the country. So all of those factors have been identified. We know where the problem is, and I must take this opportunity to thank and commend our Prime Minister, who is also much aware of the problems, and he has given support to the Ministry and KCH in terms of having access to finance from ADB. We are able to attract finance, and we know what can be done. It will not take 2 months to fix this problem. We have already identified the root cause of the problems. There are too many, but the 3 most important ones leading to, especially dealing with the competency of our employees. Those will be attended to. We actually, I must say, Mr. Speaker, I must admit I have been very overactive in trying to bring this situation to a closure. But at the same time, bearing in mind the fact that when a minister intervenes every day, he can be accused of political interference. There is a fine balancing act that we need to be careful. But we've now been able to source some funds. We've identified the root causes, and we have started work. And starting December, we've seen some gradual improvement. In the case of lack of power to other areas, starting with Sepik province, the good governor has been reminding me many times, and I have tried my best to work with him. These are ongoing issues. Plans have been made to purchase gensets for areas that we have identified. Some are on the way now. Some are about to be purchased. We are not sitting back. We have identified the problems, and the next couple of months, you will see gradual improvements in PNG Power. We will slowly turn this company around such that before the end of the year, it will be a company that many of us will be proud of. All we need, Mr. Speaker, is time, now that we've already identified all the problems. So I can confidently stand before all of us and say that we will be able to turn this power company around very soon. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable